there's something that I want to get off my chest. I think Europe is in a very interesting moment in time where if we make the right decisions, we can really set ourselves for success. And I'm not talking about the government or any people in charge. It does matter. But I'm talking about us Europeans, the 500 million people living in Europe. I think we are kind of falling a bit behind, and I am starting to feel really alone. So basically, all of my life, I felt kind of an outsider in Europe. You know that there is a lot of, like, even on YouTube, there's a lot of content about side hustles, about freelancing, about investing, about starting companies, just like the whole, I don't want to say that like hustle mentality, but just generally improving yourself in any way possible, trying to earn more, trying to do better, trying to start a company, just being proactive. It seems all of that really comes from America, like exclusively from America. In Europe, we lived a very quiet life. If I just go to any random European country, if I meet people, all of my friends here in my home country or anywhere outside Europe, it seems we're all working in the same system, but we don't have that hunger. Like, I'm really missing that hunger for people to do just a bit more, to try a bit harder, to improve their lives, to start a company, I think we're missing that. I think with all of these problems that America has and all of the presidency and tariffs or whatever is happening, they have their share of problems. And I know it's probably a weird time to compare US and Europeans, but I do believe one thing they're doing very right is that usually a lot of people in America have that independence and that hunger to try and work out things because nobody's gonna save them. In Europe, we have a big social system, which is amazing, but I do think that in some ways it is kind of dragging us down because we have something to rely on, so nobody's really pushing us to do more. So, for example, there aren't many people who are doing any side hustles in Europe. Everyone is not really taking any risks. Like, investing is a whole thing in America, but here in Europe, barely anyone invests. We don't really, we have that social system, everybody's relying on their pensions, nobody's really doing anything to improve their lives, and it's really sad, and I'm kind of feeling alone in doing all of these things. But everyone around is not really trying. And again, I'm not suggesting that you need to now hustle and do nothing but work, but I think there are just few key things that we can kind of improve, still having our European identity, our European culture, our European values applied to all of these things, but I think we can do a bit better. I would love to see more Europeans starting that side project, starting a YouTube channel, starting to invest more and not just rely on their pension schemes, but actually invest towards, those big index funds, those world funds, so that whenever you retire, you actually have a lot of net worth to, either, dedicate to your children or to help your parents or just to live yourself. And then I also want us to actually pursue more projects because I want to build a better future for Europeans. I think we're missing a lot of good companies. Like, if we look at all of the top companies in the world, they're all American because they had that drive, they built it up. And I think Europe is missing that. All of the companies that we have, they're very old and very, created like decades ago, that are kind of still driving forward, but there aren't any young people trying to reinvent their wheel, trying to do something better for Europeans. I mean, I love that now we have, this buy from Europe mentality where trying to look for alternatives. Instead of buying an American product, we buy a European product. But, what a lot of people found out is that we don't really have any alternatives because nobody really created them. But I think today is kind of a unique opportunity to do that. I think Europe is kind of going sort of, we finally, got kicked in our butt, and we now need to actually do something. So I think now there are going to be a lot of opportunities presented to us to start building companies, start building alternatives for Europeans. And this means for both as an individual, you can actually go and sort of start doing something with the side project that you sort of abandoned like 5-10 years ago. You might actually start working on it now, or just do it for just yourself and start sort of just investing, thinking about your future. What I'm trying to convey is that I would love to have more Europeans do more stuff, like improving themselves, doing side hustles, investing, creating companies, just being more proactive in the way we manage our lives. I think if everybody in Europe would become more independent from pension system, from a country, from just like from the company that you work at, if you would just think about, hey, what am I doing with my life and how can I make it better? And just start taking some actions. I think it would go a long way if a lot of us would have, $100,000 worth of investing portfolios. That would be just incredible. If we would just do more side hustles, we would have a bigger community of people that I could also sort of interact with and just be part of it. Because it seems, I think we have those people, but they're so far in between that there isn't any bigger community brewing around ourselves. I do feel very alone in whatever I'm doing, because I feel like I would fit in more with Americans than with Europeans in terms of these things, in terms of the hunger, in terms of the motivation, in terms of the actual actions, projects, side hustles, investing, and just even this YouTube video, even this YouTube channel, it's not making me any money. It's not monetized. 5-6 years I've been creating videos, but it's just this feeling inside of me that I want to do more, and I'm still kind of trying to work on this platform to see if something works. And I would love to see just more people doing the same thing. It doesn't have to be YouTube video. It can be a newsletter, a blog. It can be just something. I think we're missing these types of people, and thus we're missing the community aspect of us. The ones that are doing it, most of us are doing it in silence, which is also, I don't think, a good thing. For example, we have this Lithuanian blogger that he's anonymous. That's totally fine, but he's writing about various sort of his journey to have a $1 million portfolio. And in Lithuania, that is just a crazy amount of money. And there is actually a small community kind of brewing. He created a Reddit account, and now we can see that there are like almost 1,000 people sort of just interacting and on this journey and just reading about it. And it's really nice to be part of that community, to interact and to see sort of that there are people like there. But without that particular blogger, all of these almost 1,000 people that would be on that journey, they wouldn't even know about each other. And I think that is one of the key things that we're missing in Europe. We're missing that community aspect. I know that it's difficult because of the language barrier and different cultures. We have like too many. Okay, not too many. We have a lot of countries and a lot of languages in Europe, and I think that might kind of a bit sort of stop us from connecting with each other. But I think it would be so much worth it if we can sort of be a more engaged community and not feel alone, whoever is doing any sort of side projects on whatever that we're doing. Sorry for this tangent, just wanted to get it out of my system. I hope what I said kind of makes sense, and I really hope I'm not alone in feeling this. That's the reason I'm making this video. I really hope there are sort of others that feel the same way. And me being more on entrepreneurship sort of side, I would love to see just more people also either doing or wanting to do this and finally taking the first step. By the way, I am a freelancer and I have been freelancing for the past 10 years and earning income from various entrepreneurial type of projects. So if you want to know more, I actually have a newsletter linked in the description. So do check that out if that is something that you're into. But YouTube do suggest you to watch this video. So check it out here. Ne, sprite. Ne.